It was crazy.
A backpack over a purse chick, never at your service. Here for your worst days. Don't it sound perfect? I know what I bring to the table, to the table. I know what I bring to the table.
What's good, y'all? It's your girl Deezy, your new best friend, back with another video. If you're new here, thanks for tuning in, and if you're not, welcome back to the channel. And today we're gonna do a keto update video. So last I left you guys, I did a keto haul, and this is my 2-week mark since I've been on keto. So I started keto on the 5th, so a little over 2 weeks, and I'm gonna go over everything. I'm gonna tell you guys my starting weight, where I'm at now, things that I did wrong, things that I wish I would have done, all of that. Okay, so let's get into it. So I started my weight at 244.4. That was my starting weight, and I'm gonna insert some pictures of my official before pictures just so you guys have an idea, because I'm gonna try to do a better job of like tracking that and tracking my inches and all of that. I started this on a Tuesday, and let me tell you guys why I started this on a Tuesday. So I literally researched the keto diet for like 4 or 5 months before I even started. I always do that. I always do that anytime I'm looking at starting like a diet, and I hate to kind of call it a diet because it's just like a way of eating. Like, it's not really a diet. Anyway, so I researched it for a few months, and everything that I saw at the time said that keto flu happens typically on the 3rd or 4th day. So I strategically started on Tuesday, hoping that if by the time keto flu kicked in for my husband and I, because he's doing it with me, it would be the weekend. But y'all, it didn't even go down like that. Listen. It was horrible. Horrible. Okay, so I'm gonna tell you guys about my first day because it got real fast. So my first day, I don't eat breakfast, so I went to work and had a bulletproof coffee with ghee. That was a whole situation in and of itself because ghee kind of smells like booty, so I was like, I wasn't really into it. Just like a bulletproof coffee, and I was fine all the way up until lunch. For lunch, I packed like bacon and like hard-boiled eggs. I don't even know why I did that, like totally random, but it was something easy and it worked and it was fine. And I was literally fine all the way up until lunchtime. My energy level and everything was fine. And literally after lunch, everything started going downhill. So first I started to feel gassy, and look, the keto diet is going to be a full of TMI situations, okay, because there's a lot. But I started to feel gassy, but then on the flip side, I started to feel like I was going to like have to run to the bathroom every 5 minutes. So it was like really weird. So that was the first thing. And then I started to feel nauseous. And y'all, when I tell you I felt nauseous, I literally felt like I was pregnant. I felt like any moment I was going to throw up. So that started happening, and every time I would go to the bathroom, I would like get the spins and I would feel like I was gonna pass out. And then I'll tell you guys why I think my symptoms were like more extreme than normal in a minute. So that was happening, and then at 3 o'clock I started to get like a mild headache, and by 3:30 I was full blown into migraine mode. Driving home, I was extremely tired and like out of it. I fell asleep at 8 o'clock that night, which is probably the earliest I've been to sleep in like 4 years, to be honest with you. When I woke up that morning, when I tell you that I was dead. And normally if I go to sleep at like 8 or 9, the next day I feel like really good because that's super early for me. I was dead to the world. I also forgot to mention that I threw up like 3 times that night. But I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna soldier through it. And I went to work the next day, and I felt like so much, like I felt like trash so bad. So I was nauseous. I did not know what to do, and it was like I didn't know how I was gonna get through the workday. So I was there for an hour and a half. First thing I did is I went to the vending machine because I didn't have time to stop before work, and I got a Gatorade, not the Gatorade like low sugar, just a full-blown Gatorade. And then a white Rockstar, because some people think that like you could have Rockstars on keto. That's a whole nother situation. So I pounded that, and even after that I felt so sick, and literally like I just could not keep my eyes open to make it through the day. So I went home early, which if you know me, once I'm there, I'm there. I don't care usually what kind of sick I am. If I'm already at work, I'm not gonna go home because I'm sick. But I just honestly, it was more of like I was so exhausted. I didn't know if I was gonna make it through the day. And guys, when I was driving home, I felt like I was going to fall asleep at any moment. I came home and I literally slept all day until I picked up my daughter. So that was my first and second day of keto and keto flu. I cannot stress this enough. Like, I don't know if it was just my situation, and maybe because I'm a little bit like, I don't want to say like arrogant, but I've started much more restrictive diets. No, I plan on doing a video about why I decided to do keto, but one of the major factors is that I was just exhausted all the time, and I was consuming like an ungodly amount of caffeine. Like, it was legit, it was so bad. And so the reason why I did this is like obviously to lose weight, but I also wanted to have more energy. So that second day when all of this was happening, I started to realize that I think my symptoms were so severe because I was intaking caffeine and sugar, mostly in the form of like coffees and energy drinks, at an insane amount. I don't think it's typical for that to be the response for keto flu, but that was definitely mine. And then it got definitely like better over time, but I am telling you, it was so bad that if I could have ate, I probably would have ate something to just like break the whole diet and just be done with it. Like, that's honestly how bad it was. And I don't say that to scare anybody, because it is true what they say, like, no matter how you feel, just stick through it, because you'll regret not sticking through it. Sorry guys, my camera died, and then I also realized that this smoke detector is going off, so we'll just think of that as a soundtrack to this video. People take that to mean that your body needs carbs and sugar, and that's why it's reacting that way, when that's actually not the case. It's just your body trying to switch over energy sources because you've gone so long running on like insulin, and you're trying to switch your body over to working on ketones. During that time, I lost like 3.5 pounds within 2 days. I was like so excited. I was like, yes, I can do this. So I plan to tell you guys kind of what my specific macros are that I'm getting in and all of that, but overall I'm following just the standard keto diet, which is the majority of your diet consists of fats, and then a little bit of a moderate protein, and then very light carbohydrates, nothing over 20 carbs. So that's what I'm doing. And then I am eating at a 20% calorie deficit for weight loss, which means in addition to doing that, I am, restricting my calories to about 1,600 calories per day. And that's really interesting, because there's a lot of people at my job who are doing keto and they don't calorie count at all, and they've lost like a ton of weight. Most of those people have a lot more weight to lose than I do, so I just don't know that I would lose weight if I didn't eat at a calorie deficit. I never thought I'd be the type of person who would calorie restrict, because I used to like gag at those people, and two, I never thought it would be possible to calorie count, eat at a like calorie deficit and always checking like nutrition labels and getting in macros without feeling hungry. The biggest thing I want to let you guys know is I have not felt hungry at all. I have not cheated, not one time, and I have not been tempted to cheat, not one single time. In fact, the only thing that you could count as a cheat, I guess, would be on the second day that I was super sick and I drank the regular Gatorade, which obviously has a lot more carbs in it. Even though that day, I'm pretty sure I never even hit my 20 carbs for the entire day because I could barely eat. My energy is getting better with like each day. It's now I maybe have like coffee, like a bulletproof coffee, if that, and I feel like amazing. Now I just kind of want to talk about the things that I've learned these past 2 weeks. So first things first, if you're used to calorie counting and you use like MyFitnessPal, it's like you're going to probably have to plan out your day. I say that because you're not just, keep in mind that you're not just counting, like restricting your calories, you're also trying to get your macros in. So if you don't, I like to think about it like as money, right? So this is how much dollars I have to spend per day. And these are the things that I have to get in every single day. or things that I have to buy every single day, which are my macros. And I have to spend that wisely, or else you might end up at the end of the day like having reached your carb max of like 20. You may not have a lot of calories to spare, but you still need to get in a ton of your fats. Well, if you get like even one more thing in that consists of fat, I mean, you're going to be over your calories for that day, so that may not be a weight loss day for you. So you just want to make sure that you're planning out your meals pretty good in a way that you're able to hit all of your macros. That being said, a big thing that I also had to learn on this, which I knew before I started keto, but I really started to learn, was that not all sugar alcohols are the same. So if you are following a keto diet and you're just like, yeah, I'm gonna slam all sorts of diet drinks and sugar-free candy and sugar-free Jell-O, not necessarily. There are a lot of tests that you can do that show that sometimes sucralose, there's like a ton of different sugars out there, stevia, sucralose, erythritol. I don't know all of them. There's probably about 7 that I'm just not naming offhand, that all can possibly affect your being into ketosis. Keep in mind, the whole point is to get your body into a state of being fat adapted. You have to be really careful. There are 2 sugars that are primarily accepted in the keto community that we know don't really affect your levels are like stevia and erythritol, and then monk fruit. And then all of them, it's not to say that you can't have, it's just that you have to have them in moderation, because although there's 0 calories, they can throw you out of ketosis. Now, y'all, the other thing, listen, you can go into any gas station or any store or any fast food place and eat keto. Like, anybody that's telling you that keto is hard to follow because it's not convenient, like, that's a goddamn lie, to be honest with you. However, sweets and sweet things, all 99% will have to be made in-house. So if I could go back in time, what I would have done is, instead of spending like $300+ at Sam's Club on like food to meal prep, I probably would have cut that down in half, right? Because you could get meat anywhere. Like, I don't really know why I thought that was going to be like such a big thing. I would have cut my budget in half, and then I probably would have just taken a day out of the week, and I would have gotten all of the supplies to make like fat bombs and even just like keto muffins, and you could make your own keto gummy bears. And I probably would have done that, and I would have froze it so that you can have those, because there's really not anything that you can grab and go if you want like something sweet. It's just, there's really nothing out there. Everything will have to be made in-house. And that's kind of a struggle, but honestly, when you start this, your sugar cravings are gonna go so down. It's so crazy. I know that it doesn't make sense, but really your sugar cravings are gonna go down, and you are going to want to drink so much water. Also, another tip that I learned, my husband ended up going into ketosis much faster than I did, and I ended up researching, and it turns out because he was eating less because he has a weird work schedule, that he inadvertently like intermittent fasts without even trying, and actually eating less when you start a keto diet can actually throw you into ketosis a lot faster. So I kind of just wish I would have known that, because I was just so programmed with like old diet mind frame, which is like breakfast, lunch, and dinner, snack every 2 hours. And keto, it's actually not like that. The reason why those diets tell you that is because throughout the day your blood sugars drop, and your fat, that's what at that time, that's what your body is running on. But when you're in ketosis, your body is actually running on ketones, and so you can go extended periods of time without eating, and you burn instead of actually store. So that's another thing that I wish I would have known. Probably just the last thing I wish I would have known, and again, this is just like a super TMI moment, but like, you are gonna find yourself not being able to use the restroom. And yeah, it sucks because obviously it's uncomfortable. It sucks because it affects what the scale says. So although you may truly be losing because you are not going to the restroom, the scale may not be coming down as fast as you would like. I've done a lot of research, and I know that psyllium husk is really good to do keto baking with, and it also helps just kind of keep everything regular. Most fiber is not keto friendly because it's literally mostly carbs, but psyllium husk really works well. Guys, I would just recommend, like, if you're thinking of doing keto, you really do have to do your research, but as far as your grocery shopping trip, don't even stress about that, because you can get keto friendly stuff anywhere. Quite honestly, if you wanted to be the type of person who ate keto all the time and did nothing but eat out, you would lose at the same exact rate as somebody who home cooks and meal preps every single day. And that has to do with the fact of the things that they normally tell us to avoid on traditional diets when eating out, which is high sodium, extra fat. Those are all things that are good on a keto diet. So it's really like a paradigm shift, because you're like, wow, I don't have to feel guilty for going out to this restaurant and ordering a burger without the bun and no cheese and all mayo and all of that, because you actually can have it. I've eaten at a lot of like some teppanyaki restaurants, of course steakhouses, y'all. It is so good. I'm really, really happy that I did it. Finally, for what I am down, I have it right here. So I told you guys when I first weighed in I was 244.4, and I am now 236.8, and I'll try to include a clip of that. So I have officially lost 7.6 pounds since the 5th of March, which is pretty good. It's super good for traditional diets. I just feel like for keto, I don't know if I should be losing more. I'm kind of like on the fence about that. But 7.6 pounds, I'll take that. I'm pretty happy with that. So yeah, guys, that's my video about my first 2 weeks on keto, my experience so far, things I wish I would have done and known. I'm gonna do a couple more videos on this. I'm gonna do a video about why I decided to do keto, compared to some of the other ways of eating out there, and then kind of show more in-depth pictures of my like before and afters. I hope you guys like this video. If you guys are also doing keto, let me know if you have any tips down below, and I will see you guys in my next one. Bye.